Jumping right into today's video, I got a new install. The CSF thermo rejection spacer or something, I don't know. And then there's the hardware. So this be something I've been super curious about, see if it actually works. So what this is it goes in between your intake manifold and the head. So pretty much where the intake manifold bolts up to the engine. This goes in between there. So because the engine's made of metal and the intake manifold's made of metal, it's very easy to do like a little heat transfer between the two. And you know, now your intake manifold's getting hotter because the engine's hotter, your intake temps are gonna go up, yada yada. So this goes in between the two, and CSF says that this will actually reduce your intake temps by 15%. So that's a pretty big deal. Like that's, I mean, say your intake temps are 100, now they drop to 85 just because of running this little thing. So today I'm gonna be installing this. Shouldn't be too difficult. However, I think I'm gonna have to remove the fuel rail, and then I'm gonna have to actually take out the intake manifold itself. I think just enough to where I can slide that underneath, but that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this isn't like a whole night evolution just to put that in there. So now I'm gonna put some clips in this video. I already did some like testing. I did kind of like a drive and at idle of my intake temps and then how hot the intake manifold was. And then I did a wide open throttle pull with intake temps, and then I scanned everything with my thermo gun to show you how hot it is. So I'll throw that here. All right, so it was about 10 minutes of driving, idling, just light driving. I wanted to get like a before and after, or I guess like a easy and then heavy driving. So on the screen, I'll post a screenshot of my IATs just with like idling and driving. And then to like look at my manifold, the manifold right now is 83, pre-manifold 81, post-manifold, you can see that, that's where it's getting closer to the head. Try and get down in there more. 113, check this one, 114, that runner, 114. See, the whole manifold's between 80 and 90. That gets a little hotter back there, which I guess that makes sense. Yeah, and then pre-manifold. Here, let's even check this. Yeah, I think it's 95 degrees. And then I guess we can check fuel rail. Oh, I don't think I'm going to see anything with that. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much showed you. The runners are 100 degrees, a little over 100 to 110, and then the rest of the manifold is about 90, 80 degrees. So now I'm going to go do a more of a wide open throttle pull, give it some more oomph, and see what it is. All right, that time I just did, oop, I'll pop it again. This time I just did a wide open throttle pull. So I'm expecting it to be hotter, obvious reasons. Now the whole manifold, oh, back there it's manifold. In the middle. Try and get there. Couple spots are like 130. I think it just depends where I hit, obviously. Oh yeah, right there. Right up against the head of the manifold. Well, that runner's actually really cool. Alright. Yeah, so we got a couple spots where it's over 130, or close to 130. So yeah, I say we put this gasket on and see what kind of difference it makes. So what I'm going to start off with is obviously removing the cover here, and then I'm going to get started on the fuel system rail. I'm not really excited about removing that because it was really difficult getting all 6 of those injectors to line up and press in. So that part's going to suck, but unfortunately I'm going to have to do it because to get that bolt that's way back there, the injector harness is actually in the way. I've already went through and I tried to get it without that, and it's not gonna work. So update, I got the fuel rail off, as you see. Injectors, I have all in there. I had to remove this injector from the farthest cylinder because the bolt is right there in the injector, and then the injector harness was in the way. So I just took the whole injector out. So now all of the little things are visible, and I'll be able to start working on those. I have a feeling I'm going to have to loosen these guys or completely remove them. Where's the other one? Oh, right there. Or completely remove them. So I can basically pick the whole manifold up, which I wouldn't mind because I know that you can actually put this thing under the manifold. So then kind of like clean up the harness or clean up the engine bay, but I'm not worried about that. If anything, I'd like to put this thing under the manifold. All right, I got all the manifold bolts off. I end up also having to remove the cylinder's injector and then the T-map sensor. That way I could access that one a little easier. And then there's those two, and then that one. That one in the back is the worst because like you can barely see it. And it's so stressful that like if you drop it, like it's gone forever. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, I won't have to use those anymore because the new one came with longer ones. But the manifold's not really moving a whole lot, which makes sense because it is bolted in. So I'm gonna start removing those, and then I should be able to move it. There's a lot more to this than I was hoping for, but turns out it was for a good thing. So this is my meth. This was actually kind of loose, and it was really difficult trying to get this on because this centerpiece, like if you would tighten this, it would move this, so then it would loosen from this part. So it's actually a good thing because now I was able to actually tighten all. You can see it was leaking where there's pink. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell. You can see little pink spots and all the dots. So the manifold is loose. It looks like I'm gonna have to completely pull it out, which really sucks because this is way more than I intended, but I have all night, so I'm gonna keep going. This is getting a little wild. I definitely have room to install the new gasket. While I was at it, I moved that fuel canister that always sat right here. I moved it back there, so that's no longer gonna be in the way. So that's dope. Something good came out of this. So next is actually to install the gasket. First thing we're doing here is we're taking these spacers and we are installing them in these holes. There's one here and then there's one like right there. We're gonna install those and then you can put the gasket on. It actually holds the gasket in place, so that'll be really nice. And there we go, new gasket's on. So you can see right there is where the little bushing went, and then there's the other one. And now it's time to put it all back together. Yay. Quick, if you guys are installing this and you guys happen to already have a CSF manifold, so you're gonna be reusing the washers that it came with. And yeah, I can show you real quick that the new ones it comes with are extended. So make sure you guys use the extended ones because that gasket's kind of thick. So yeah, make sure you use these on the new ones and install it. And manifold is back on. Can't really see the gasket. I mean, you can kind of see it right there. You can kind of see the blue. But yeah, manifold is on. She's on good. What I did for tightening purposes is I kind of put them all in, but then I started in the middle and then just almost hand tightened it and then kind of like worked my way out. And I continued to do that until it was like completely tight and not moving. That way it kind of applied like equal pressure along the whole manifold. Kind of like you do when like you do a valve cover or your heads or whatever. So update, I was trying to install these guys into that hole and then that hole, but I don't think these are gonna work anymore. Cause you can see, you can kind of see it. This is where it goes in, but then like where you see the reflection is where it goes. So this bolt is no longer long enough to work there, which I don't think that's a bad thing. Cause like this thing is, there's already like what, 8, 9 screws holding this manifold in. So I don't think these 2 bolts are really gonna do anything. And we are back together just like that. Pretty simple to put back together. I think the only trouble I had is what I was calling in the beginning, this fuel rail. It's so difficult lining all 6 of them injectors up on that fuel rail and making it sit right. But once I got that on, it was pretty much easy day. And I had a little bit of trouble with the clamp, but just loosened it up over here, slid it on. But yeah, it is all done. Unfortunately, it is like 2:30 in the morning. So I probably can't start it, especially because I'm in the garage. I would wake like the whole neighborhood. So that's where I'm calling it for tonight. In the morning when I get up, I will start it up, make sure I have no fuel leaks, because that's my biggest worry. And then we'll go out for a ride and see what the change is, see what the difference is. All right, y'all, so it's the next night. I got my thermo gun, so my BM3 dashboard, and we are going to see if this thing actually works. Super excited. All right, so taking into consideration, it is about 5 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So that's obviously going to impact this. Oh wow, it's actually in the 70s. Check the runners. They're actually kind of warm. It is warmer outside. And remember, this is just driving in idle, so I haven't been sitting here for a couple minutes. I could have been sitting here for a couple minutes more than yesterday, and then with it being hotter, it's tough to tell. But I'm gonna go do a wide open throttle pull here and see what we get. All right, just did a watt pull from 3rd through 4th, and intake temps looks pretty decent. The middle looks so cool, it's wild. Alright, check the runners. Alright, and remember, it is like 5-6 degrees hotter. Definitely not the same temperature it was last night. Last night was really nice. Alright, yeah, so there's my temps. That, sir, is a exit, not an entrance. But yeah, so I'm gonna look at the numbers real quick, and then I'll kind of give my thoughts. All right, so looking at my numbers, they are even or just barely above. And you also gotta take into consideration that it is 5-6 degrees warmer today. So I mean, you know how that math works. 5 to 6 degrees warmer can be a lot more when you're boosting. So being that they are the exact same numbers, or a little bit above or a little bit below, depending, I would say this gasket actually works pretty well. It may not look like it on paper, but I mean, if we had the same conditions as we did last night, then it would be the same, it would be better, sorry. It would be better with this gasket. In the end, the gasket was $300, and I think it was worth it, honestly. Given the results. So I will see you guys in another video. Bye. Got some trash pandas.